Hello, everyone. This is Visualizing Hypothesis Testing. My name is Mauro Tijerina. I am a student at California Intercontinental University. This is GRC 605 Business Research Methodology and Quantitative Stats, Dr. Luong, and this is February the 3rd of 2018. Let's get it going. The agenda, we're going to test for the mean. We're going to compare two groups of data. We're going to utilize the efficiency comparison, the correlation testing. So let's get it going. So we have visualization number one. And before we get it going, there's some background information one always has to know when working with hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So first and foremost, a hypothesis is a premise or a claim that we want to test. We're going to be working with a null hypothesis and a alternative hypothesis. A null hypothesis is usually the status quo, what is currently accepted value for a parameter. The alternative hypothesis is it's also called the research hypothesis. It usually involves a claim to be tested. So the research question reads: On average, are the widget from Acme Widget Company defect free? Our null hypothesis reads: Widgets from Acme Widget Company are defect free. Consider that a null hypothesis is a premise, then or it needs to be a premise that can be tested and falsified. So here we have our null hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis, that's widgets from Acme Widget Company are not defect free. One thing we have to consider is that you can state hypotheses using words or equations. For this example, our null hypothesis would read the mean equals 0, while our alternative hypothesis would read the mean does not equal to 0. Visualization number 2, comparing two groups. So for this example, we are comparing the two groups of the major league and the minor league, the number of home runs, and the fraction of team that are home run hitters. The research question: Does the average major league team have more home run hitters than its corresponding minor league team? Now, we're working with the curves, and usually a curve or a plot of the data can hint at a possible hypothesis test. For the sake of this example, we're gonna come up with a null hypothesis again. I know I've already said it, but a null hypothesis needs to be a premise that can be tested and falsified. Ours reads: the major league team has equal number of home run hitters as the minor league team. The alternative hypothesis reads: the major league team has more home run hitters than the minor league team. Now, if we take a closer look at the at our illustration, we can kind of give or take that the minor league has about 2.8 of a mean, while the major has about 3.7. So we could go ahead and reject the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis said that they were equal, and as we have found, they are not. Visualization number 3, efficiency comparison. So here we want to find out, or our research question reads, the efficiency curves of the red and blue teams were recorded. Do the teams have equal mean efficiencies? Again, we go back. Let's come up with a null hypothesis. Ours reads the red and the blue teams have no differences in the mean efficiencies. However, the alternative hypothesis reads the red and the blue teams have a difference in the mean efficiencies. Also, something I forgot to mention is that the both the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis are mathematical opposites. Visualization number four, we're dealing with a correlation test rather than a mean. Here we have our illustration. We're working with trying to find the correlation between the miles per gallon. Is it connected to the weight of a vehicle? So let's get it going. So a German study tested how larger industrial use vans utilize gasoline. One of their analysis plotted miles per gallon versus the weight of the various vans in the study. After plotting the data on a scatter plot, the researchers performed a correlation test and found a significant correlation. However, they forgot to state their hypothesis test in their published paper, which is not good. Brings us to the essence question. What were the study's null and alternative hypotheses? Again, we got to come up with a null hypothesis, which is a premise that can be tested or falsified. Our null hypothesis would read there is no correlation between the miles per gallon used and the weight of the vehicle. The alternative hypothesis would read there is a correlation between the miles per gallon used and the weight of the vehicle. Now, if you look at the illustration, we can figured we can figure that the heavier a vehicle is, the less gallons, the less miles per gallon that that the vehicle will give you. So yeah, there is a correlation between the miles per gallon and the weight of a vehicle. So again, we can go ahead and reject our null hypothesis. Again, the possible outcome in this, both the null and the research hypothesis, is to either reject the null hypothesis or to fail to reject the null hypothesis. Important takeaways. Um, we created hypothesis, creating hypothesis test. We learned how to create hypothesis. We started stating a hypothesis using words. Just have in mind that you can state hypotheses using words or equations. Just an FYI. We developed a null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis. Again, the alternative hypothesis it involves a claim to be tested, while the null hypothesis is the status quo, the currently accepted value for a parameter, and also usually comes from previously done research. Using visualizations, we found that a curve or a plot of data can hint at a possible hypothesis test. And the curve is a bell shaped and fairly symmetrical about the highest point. The highest point is the mean. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can always comment on the comment section, or once I upload this video, you can always shoot me a message. I hope you guys have a good one, and God bless.